Conditions are good.
What's your character in D&D?
I am a changeling rogue.
Cool.
But I have a character backup for when my character dies. Because we're doing that. We're not respawning our characters. We're just dying and then creating an alternate character with the same stats. So my alternate...
just to be replaced?
Yeah.
Recasted?
Yeah, just recast it, I guess. But your stats are completely the same. So my backup character is a centaur.
Then why not just... I guess it's more fun.
It's more fun because like if you're just bringing yourself back, you're not. There's no real intimidation.
There's no
editing.
risk. Yeah. I got you. All right. That's not about. Oh, you really got. You know what? I had all the energy in the world, and then my kombucha wore off.
Sucks to be you.
Yeah, it always does. Caitlin, hey, how's it over there in Hotland?
It is going pretty well. We just got out of the hot weather, so we're getting low. I mean, I say that and it's like in the 80s and 90s still, but we're out of the triple digits.
Yeah, look, I didn't ask for a weather report. I just asked how you were doing.
Well, that's normally what it is. Okay, it's just about the heat.
I mean, if you wanted her to say something specific, write a script.
I just asked how you doing. All right. Here we go. DYNA CAST episode 8, anniversary episode. We've been doing this a whole ass year, and we're 8 episodes in. That's it, because this is just tough. I've been doing this out of pocket now. My YouTube money gone.
Do you want me to send you the $40 you gave me for gas back?
No, I mean. Unless you want...
I'll do this work for free. I mean, I've already been doing it for
free.
It's
just a courtesy because I know gas prices are wilding and shit, you know? So I'm just
I do this for you, Corey, so it's okay.
All right.
I don't have to be
look,
here.
I don't need the money back, Rosa. I just give you your gas money, all right?
All right.
But some housekeeping before we get started. Kind of feel like after doing this a whole last year, I feel like I've followed into like a visual format of how I want things to look, and it feels more natural now, and now editing is a lot faster. Now I just have to stop procrastinating and get shit done.
I'm proud of that answer.
Just do the damn thing. So now that we're up and rolling again, there is no more seasons. It's just an ongoing show, and I want to be consistent, but I can't afford to be consistent right now. So the episodes are going to come out when they come out. And I also working on trying to do more micro productions. So it'll be the podcast and whatever the hell else I'll be working on. I want to do a short movie like soonish, like next year, maybe close to the end of next year. That was what DYNA CAST side missions was. But I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing with my channel, and I figured it out, and I'm moving forward, and there we go.
Baby steps. Corey.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Say baby steps, Caitlin.
Baby steps.
Thank you. All right, today's topic, the MCU, because next month we have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever coming out, and this is a popcorn bucket of T'Challa, R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
It's like the coolest popcorn bucket I've ever seen.
It's just weird having his head here, seeing his fate. So it's.
I just noticed when you lifted it up, he has eyes in there, which is
he has eyes
weird.
in there.
That's what I noticed. I was like,
he looks like
weird.
this in a movie, and then he has the slits, and he has the mirror lenses.
Still though, like when I see that, regardless of it being a part of the costume, it still feels like it's
you don't want him
not
looking
real.
at you?
Like
no,
yeah,
it just looks funny to me to see like this whole costume, and then you just see
it's not. He can't even make eye contact with me. It's like he's looking over me.
Well, it's plastic.
All right, so here we go. We're diving into the MCU Infinity Saga. I've been watching this shit from the beginning since Iron Man. I kind of feel like, I don't want to say sorry, but for like people, like kids is different. That's not their fault. But like adults who jumped into the MCU a little bit later, and the end game doesn't feel, it has a different feeling when when you haven't been there for the whole 10 years. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like because they're just jumping into the middle of it rather than experiencing it all from the beginning till now. And then I feel bad for all those people that want to get into the universe now, but they're
It's
like,
a hot
I have all
fucking
these
mess.
movies and shows to watch.
They gotta go
I
through
feel
like
like-
70 something shits right now.
Yeah, it's like these productions are legit comic book issues.
Yeah.
So like,
Mhm.
where should I start reading comic books? I don't know.
Pick
Just
one
pick up
and
one.
then go from there.
Just
Yeah.
pick up one and we'll figure it out.
Really, it just depends on like where you want to really see. Like if you want to see more of magic stuff, start with these, or you want to see more just action or patriotic, start with something else. Like
Yeah.
it all will go in the same place.
Yeah, I think you kind of have to start off with like what's your type of superhero and then go from there. Because if you force yourself to like take in the whole thing, you're gonna get bored. You're gonna get tired of reading eventually. So just read the interesting stuff.
Oh wait, are we talking about comic books or the MCU?
Both.
It goes for both.
Because like the movies, you do get a bit of a recap, and sometimes they do an okay job at filling you in certain spots when the movie's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, I'm like directly talking about comic books because there's just so many comics.
I feel like
Mhm.
that's, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into that. That's a whole nother episode. But I don't know, Kat. What is your overall feeling of the Infinity Saga? How did it strike your fancy experiencing it?
Experiencing it because I watched it from the first Iron Man when that came out as well, and seeing it all come together. I mean, I liked it because it was just like, it was the biggest thing that's happened so far. Nobody's really done something like this before in film, with this much of this much of something. Everything's pulled together. I thought it was pulled together nicely. That being said, it's already, even though the multiverse saga has just started, I still like the Infinity War saga better, just from, I guess, how they did it. And that maybe it's just because everything's so convoluted now, and there's just so much that they're trying to put into one. They can just take a step back like they did with Infinity Saga. They didn't really know what they were doing, but they just kind of focused on one thing at a time instead of, you got to look at like 20 different things to understand this one scene of the movie.
Yeah. And then also I feel like because almost all the other movies, there's different directors directing these different movies. So each film has its own way of telling the story and also a different vibe. So that's where I feel like the inconsistencies start to come in more because
especially now things are wilding the fuck out. Right?
Yeah.
Like the most different movie back in the Infinity Saga would have been Winter Soldier, because up till then all of them were.
Where you notice the differences. So Winter Soldier, and then also I felt like when Guardians of the Galaxy came out, that was also its own.
That was another.
It had its own
change.
vibe. And then after that, people were really like gravitating towards that style. So after that, I feel like they tried to match all the MCU movies to that standard.
Not,
they really
speaking of matching, when Amazing Spider-Man come out, he was biting off Batman Begins.
Mm-hmm.
And he was this broody Spider-Man lurking in the dark with his orange eyes. And then Avengers came out. Next thing you know, Andrew Garfield got a whole ass new suit. He's bright, looking like comic book Spider-Man. His suits are all accurate. So like a lot of a lot of studios were reactionary to the success of the MCU and Avengers. No one gave a damn about the MCU until after Avengers, honestly. So,
nobody really gave a damn about Marvel too much before the Infinity Saga really went. But as far as like television and movies go, like it was all DC. Mostly. And then Marvel
I'm sorry to
took
cut you off. Just DC did it first.
DC
was there first. They went from
all the way back from Smallville.
No, I'm talking.
But I'm talking about TV series wise.
I'm talking about like DC created Superman. Superman was the first superhero, and then they were the first to do the serials back in the 30s with Superman and Batman. So even making them entertainment outside of comic books, like DC was there, but apparently they're just struggling these days.
They're struggling now. But I
It's
remember like
hard.
hearing Stan Lee talk about in interviews that he had such a hard time trying to put, like, Spider-Man was the first one he wanted to put into film and all that. And that was a lot harder because people just wanted Superman and Batman. And that was just so hard. And so we got some I think they're hilarious now, but we got basically some like shitty like TV shows like The Incredible Hulk. I mean, I watched that back and I mean, it was cool for what it was, but I mean, it looks ridiculous for him to be the Hulk, in my opinion.
I mean, it's just a man who turns into another man.
And then, Japan's Spider-Man show that came out in the 80s or something like that.
Oh, don't be dissing the emissary of hell, all right? There's no disrespecting the emissary of hell.
I would just say Marvel had a hard time in the beginning back in the 80s and 90s, but now now everybody loves.
Now people refer to superheroes as Marvel heroes. You ever seen like a bootleg T-shirt and it says Marvel and it says you see Superman,
and then you see
Batman,
someone from DC, and
Iron Man.
No.
Yeah, I remember someone had I think it was a coworker of mine and said, "Oh, we're having a Marvel day at school, and my son is going as Batman." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Nah.
Right. I mean, to be fair, they did have mergers in the comics, but I mean,
no one's cutting deep like that at elementary school.
Marvel was competing with DC because DC was doing everything first, and Marvel was let's
we all
top
know,
that. Let's
we all know it's
that.
a catch-all. It's just like people who call robots Gundams. I'm like, no, the word robot existed before Gundam. Come on, people. Like, or when they see a Gundam, is that Optimus Prime? Like, is he red and blue? We all know Optimus Prime is red and blue. Everyone knows that much. Gundam is just stark white.
Yeah, I think the Transformers have more of like poppy, vibrant colors, whereas Gundam is more like just because it's more military based.
Yeah, I mean, we're off topic, but
yeah, what are we talking about? The MCU. Not
we're
Gundam,
talking about how people like using catch-alls for Marvel. But what is your least favorite movie in Infinity Saga?
Ooh.
Everybody likes to go to Thor: Dark World, but I like that movie.
Yeah, I mean that's everyone. I mean it's the least favorite in the box office and everything. I mean I understand why it's a least favorite. I think I'd have to say probably it goes from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or the third Iron Man for me.
Yeah, freaking Iron Man 3. I am the Mandarin. Like,
yeah, it's between those two for me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I didn't like the sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy because right when we meet Ego, I'm like, he's gonna be the bad guy. Like I was just like, I already know what's happening. I already know what's coming. Like the movie barely started, I already knew what the ending was gonna be. So when the ending happened, I was like, I'm not surprised.
I thought my phone was off.
Also, I'm just tired of Chris Pratt.
It's me, Mario.
I mean, I have no problem with Chris Pratt. I was just expecting something better in the sequel, but then it turned out to be what I was completely expecting.
Yeah,
I mean, there was no surprise because even for Iron Man 3, that horrible twist where it's just an actor playing the Mandarin, I was like, oh.
I mean, I didn't.
It was a surprise to me, but it was a bit of a disappointment. Because
what happened to that? Oh wait, yeah, he was in Shang-Chi. And he was just chilling over on whatever line that was. Yeah.
I mean, that's a nice, funny aspect that they brought to the third movie, I feel, because it wasn't all bad. Because there were some pretty cool parts in the third movie. But I think the one that I'm most displeased with is Guardians 2. Only because I just predicted the entire movie while I was watching it. And I was just like, no excitement there for me.
Yeah, I would say the same Iron Man 3 and Guardians 2.
I think the only thing that saved Guardians 2 was Baby Groot. That's like the only thing that saved that movie.
Baby Groot is the cutest thing.
Best movie, Infinity Saga.
I think my favorite is the Multiverse of Madness. Oh wait, no, that's after. That's after. Yep. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Hold on. Let me backtrack. Kat, you give that answer while I think about my.
I mean, I'm just gonna be cliche, and it's friggin'. I mean, it's Infinity War and Endgame. Obviously, is my favorite.
Yes.
Like obviously, but if besides that, I think it would probably be. I mean, I really liked Winter Soldier. That's like one of my favorites in the saga.
Yeah.
What's the other one I liked? I think that's it. Like, Everything else is like it's like
Yeah, they're
I enjoy.
all pretty
Yeah,
I don't want to use the
same.
word stagnant, but they're all, you don't like any other better. I like them all equally. But
Yeah, they're at the
the
same level as each
standout,
other.
you can't forget about Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, that was a part of the Infinity Saga.
So Spider-Man is up there for me.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Spider-Man was definitely one of my top favorites.
I don't want to count Endgame and Infinity War because that's a given. That's
just
like
the conclusion to the saga.
Those are my favorite movies of all time. I'm just like,
they're great movies.
They made that movie. There's so many actors in this fucking movie, and there is the lull when they're looking for the stones when Tony meets his dad, and it kind of slows down a little bit.
You know what I have to say? I think Black Panther is my favorite only because I was unaware of the character until the movie came out, and then seeing, because I didn't know about Wakanda or anything like that, so the whole movie was new to me, and it introduced me to a character I was not aware of. I think the movie was put together pretty well. I liked
Black Panther. I like what it's done, but that third act is what kills the movie for me.
Yeah, me personally, I liked all the Wakandan stuff. Like I loved when they were in Wakanda and all of that area, but I just couldn't get behind like the villains of the movie and just those parts of it. I was like, this is kind of like whatever. Like it's super obvious in certain parts. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't understand why like they're basically letting them do this. Like, I mean, obviously T'Challa and all them could take this down a lot easier. It just didn't seem like this doesn't seem realistic for this particular set of characters.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I have a hard time matching their hero with a good villain to.
Yeah, Marvel has a hard time with their villain. DC got good villains. They make movies about their villains.
I know, like you even have people like loving the villains at times. Like I love like my favorite villain's this guy, or like who
is my favorite DC villain? I don't know.
That's a good question.
I love Batman so much. I don't know.
I like Freeze, but he's not really like. He just has a straightforward objective and does not allow anybody to get in front of that objective.
I think I would get Mr. Freeze would be one of them. I don't know.
I mean, I've always said like I love Marvel heroes, but I love DC villains. Like, not too big of a fan of DC heroes because it seems like they always fuck up. So all
right, cut off Cat's mic. Cut it off right now.
But Marvel, especially now, like maybe in the comics it's different. The comics are different, but at least movie wise, like I don't know what the fuck Marvel's doing right now with their villains in the multiverse saga. I hate it. I don't like it. It's just bullshit and how they're redeeming themselves way too much.
Yeah. I guess we could segue over there now because we basically went over most of our feelings of the Infinity War. It's a lot to talk about, and we have 45 minutes left. But I mean, we did a podcast before on no, actually we started our podcast in the multiverse saga with Eternals. That was episode 1, Eternals.
I wasn't there for that episode.
Oh, no.
I wish Eternals was better for that first episode.
Speaking of earlier episodes, I want to give a shout out to Rich Rose, Christina, Tessa, and Mike. They all over doing things, their things. It seems like
in the edit, like we honor
the scrolling cast. I mean, like low key, this feels like the Corey show featuring friends and ex-guests. You know what I mean? I'm just pulling in. Hey, are you free this weekend? Please.
Hey,
please, I need somebody
I've been in like every episode.
Yes, but now I mean things are different.
Even before the DYNA CAST, when we were just us.
The first 3 episodes when we did Justice League, the G-Rex series podcast.
Yeah. But
like going forward, I plan on doing a lot of Power Ranger content. So I mean, unless you guys plan on fucking binge watching Power Rangers,
I'm a fan of the original Power Rangers, but then I think my generation got to see the Dino Power Rangers.
Dino Thunder?
Yeah. Yes, I saw Dino Thunder. I remember that, but there's like a big chunk of time where I just stopped watching, but I was aware it was still going.
Well,
and I love Power Rangers. I just didn't keep up with it.
check this out, Rose.
I think I was just into Yu-Gi-Oh more, you know.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Jeez,
Yu-Gi-Oh was out at that time, so.
I'm trying to get someone in on this podcast, very special. So I'll know within a week or so. But if you watch the recent
Just
series,
send me a list and I'll.
No, just we're gonna start off with the one currently, which is Dino Fury.
All right, then I'll start watching.
Dino Fury's 20 episodes is on Netflix.
I can handle that.
Yeah, the first half is a little rough, but the first half, season 1 is like, and then you get season 2, and it's still like,
I am someone that watches shitty content just to see how bad it is, and I love making fun of it. So I will sit through any slow season or slow pickup.
It doesn't get good till the second half.
I'm a patient
of season
viewer.
2.
A very patient.
So
viewer.
if you guys want to come through again, just watch some Dino Fury, and then we'll go from there.
All
right,
for sure.
All right, cool. Multiverse Saga. We mostly talk about most of the Multiverse Saga
Yes.
in earlier episodes. So now we're at the current series, which is She-Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving She-Hulk. I watch every episode
Me
at least
too.
4 times. My brother, on the other hand, is just like, when is this? I mean, people don't like it because
been
it's not
seeing
doing the
that.
Marvel-y stuff.
Because she's the one superhero right now that's not trying to be a superhero. She just wants to live her life out the way she has planned it.
I was just talking to Rosa earlier before this about like she's more of a civilian still. Like she has powers, but she's a civilian still. Like she's just kind of doing what normal people do.
Yeah, and I like
moment.
that Daredevil points that out in the newest episode. He's like, "You don't do this, so how about you chill while I lead this?" And she's like, "No, I can do it." I'm like,
I like her dad. I retweeted someone's tweet when she did her little dance.
Yeah, she's like, "I can do this."
But I like She-Hulk. People are just on some bullshit because it's not. She's not fighting. She's just
funny because so many people complained about how every Marvel movie or show is kind of doing the same formula, but now that
now they're doing something different.
Now they're like, I don't like this because it's different.
I mean,
I'm like, well, what do you?
The
want?
one. The one best part about it.
Wait, just real quick. When they do something different, it's like.
Yeah, sometimes it's like a complete like.
Because now we got a lawyer show. We have this Halloween special. We had the fucking Groot cartoon.
I think the Groot cartoon was really cute.
Yeah, so it's when they do different, they doing different.
Yeah, but I feel like what people are missing from Ms. Marvel, I was just having this conversation with Luke when we were watching the newest episode, that She-Hulk that the She-Hulk is actually giving us more mutants, like mutant types, than any other thing we've seen in Marvel, which I feel like people are missing that. Like every episode is a new character with powers. We have never gotten that in the
it's like, where have they been?
And it's like people forget that, mutants, the X-Men are a part of this universe.
Yeah, we don't know outside of the Avengers world. We don't know what that world is. Mm-hmm. We don't know how many special people. I mean, there was a time when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a part of continuity until they plucked it out. So, but we don't know how many superpower people are lurking around in the MCU.
Yeah, like it's not like it just shows that because she's in charge of a whole subdivision and it's all about superpowered beings. That like it shows that people know that they're there and they're just apparently everywhere, but we don't get to see that because we're just seeing just the main people and their isolated threats instead of like She-Hulk's doing and showing a more broader version of their world with multiple things happening at the same time.
Like
even the little even the little things that they show on the sides of websites or in little comment sections in the background is all different types of
fight with the claws.
Yeah, like I feel like my favorite episode is when Abomination first makes his appearance and he has that court case. Like that's a completely real scenario that you would see in our world if superheroes were a thing, because these villains have to answer to their crimes, and we never really get to see that kind of like a court case of a villain trying to reform back into society. And so I was really enjoying that episode. I was like, yes, this is, and it was a good filler in between the movies too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
speaking of
or
like
like
reform, they Daredevil mentioned that the Sokovia Accords has been repealed. Is that the right word?
that was that it's been repealed. That was crazy when I heard that in there because that's the first time. As far as we knew, it was still going.
Yeah, so
So
you figure like after Endgame, it's just like you guys really gonna try to keep leashes on these guys? They just saved the world. Some of y'all motherfuckers were gone. Now you back.
Right?
So you are you gonna let them do what they gotta do or not?
Yeah, because like from what I remember with everything that came after the blip, apparently the Sokovia Accords were still in play after the blip. But I mean, She-Hulk's based in 2025, so some point between the blip and 2025, it got repealed, but we just don't know when. It's just now, it's just like common knowledge that it's repealed.
Yeah. Well, during the Civil War, what team were you on?
Ooh. I was Team Cap. Mostly because I'm just a paranoid person. I don't really 100% believe everything the government. Like I don't think the government's like 100% corrupt, okay?
Yeah.
But I also don't trust them fully. So, and I was also aware of, the comic stuff of like, Hail
It was
Hydra
nothing
and
like
all
the
that
fucking
stuff.
comics, I'll tell
But
you that.
I was just personally like, not every superhero wants to register. And then like because I know the whole point of Civil War is to get these heroes to register into a system so that they're
they have to be under their thumb. They have to work for.
But at the same time, there's big risk with that because again, villains exist.
Man, I mean, just look outside. You can see what our government's doing and playing games.
Yeah, so like I was just like, no, I don't want to give complete control to the government, but I'm also not completely against with working with the government. If the government in a perfect world was
did their fucking job,
doing their job, actually being here for the people, then I'd be like, okay, Team Iron Man. But we live in a shady world, so
I mean, I'm always going to be on Team America's ass. Like that's always going to be my team. But but I could understand certain things. Like I was just having this I was having this conversation with Rosa. I understand from both point of views. Like if you're a Hulk, right, like She-Hulk, and you can't really have a secret identity because I mean nobody's going to not see you turn. You could hide all you want, but you're still like an 8-foot tall fucking person.
Yeah.
Yo, when she was on the retreat with Abomination, and she was just like, standing there, like, I was just like, I wouldn't mind being with a tall green woman.
Hey.
I don't know, just seeing her stand like it was doing it for me. I was just like, hey, man, that's
but you see what I'm saying? It may be unfair. Like people that can't hide their identity because of what their power set is, it seems unfair that that they're under the microscope all the time, but these people can just live normal lives with no repercussions because they have a secret identity. I can see both ways with it. I mean, if we're taking from the comics, obviously it ended very badly for Spider-Man because everyone basically almost died from him doing that. But I mean, it's different depending on who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I chose Team Iron Man because all my boys was on the same team.
Corey, welcome to Team Iron Man. You made a great decision. Nice. It's not lovely to have you.
I was like, I'm going to go roll with my boys and see what happens. And then I realized, because then Spider-Man was told to go home. Mm-hmm. And then Black Panther was like,
I live in Wakanda. I'm not a part of this.
He's like, hey, your boy killed my daddy, but then, hey, this ain't right. Revenge is not the answer. And then I was like, you're right, T'Challa.
Taking the high road. Yes.
And then Tony, he lost his, it was his dad, right?
Both. I believe it was both his parents.
He lost both his parents.
Bucky killed in the car accident.
But I believe
he killed
the parents were in the same car.
Oh, yeah. And then he pop his dad.
Yeah.
I was just like, it's just...
But 100% though, when Tony was going after Bucky, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna jump in the middle of that because
that's y'all's fight.
That was
now it's not. Now it's not
Tony.
About the situation. It's not about the Accords. It's about a whole nother thing.
You killed my parents. It's like,
that was well deserved. I'm like. like that's what I didn't agree with Captain America on. Like, let Tony get some punches in because he deserves it. Like, your friend can handle it. Thank you very much. Okay, he's a fucking super soldier.
Like he won't
let
be able
him
to
get some
kill
punches
Bucky,
in.
but let him get his frustrations out
Yeah,
on the
Tony
guy.
could kill Bucky if he wanted to.
I don't know. Like
he could just laser him to death and zip.
We
I
need
mean-
to ask Death Battle for
Tony made a good point to Captain America. Like, what if this happened to you? Are you not going to feel the same way I'm feeling if this happened? If you were in this situation instead of me,
Well, it's
and
also
I was
different.
the
He
person.
low key was in that situation with Ultron.
Well, the thing is that it's so easy to villainize Bucky from Tony's perspective because that's all Tony has known him to be. Whereas Steve actually grew up with Bucky pre-brainwash and knows that to Bucky's core, he wouldn't do something like that. So all that brainwashing and turning him into an assassin, an emotionless killer, like it's kind of hard because you understand where Tony's coming from. Of course, Bucky did like an unspeakable thing, but also he was under the thumb of Hydra. Like he really had no
understand
choice.
that. I understand that, but Bucky was also still in the military. He still knew how to take orders. I mean, he died he died in front of like Cap when he first saw him. So he kind of has like those goggles on, right? To where he just sees him as like he can't do anything wrong because he's my best friend, but he really hasn't seen him in like 40, 50 years. And so things
like
change.
70.
I mean, but like things change. I mean, it's not like Bucky was an angel when they first grew up together all the time. Like he probably did stuff still or had certain thoughts and everything. Who knows? But it's just he idolized him, and that's why he just thought he couldn't do anything wrong. Like, oh, it's not his fault completely. I'm like, some of it was.
Well, what were you saying about Multiverse of Madness?
Oh, about like what would be my favorite movie from?
Oh. I guess we can talk about that.
Well, when you're ready to, are we ready?
Because we went right back into the old saga because it's still Sokovia,
We just
of
got
course.
angry.
I mean, it's still the MCU. All of it does tie in together.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it at a timeline standpoint, but my favorite Multiverse of Madness aspect, I guess you could say, because there aren't that many movies out yet for that saga.
I mean, none of them have been all that great, really.
I mean, I like my favorite elements of it is, seeing Wanda go into as close to being, what we know as the Scarlet Witch. I liked seeing that. I think Sam Raimi did a really good job with creating a kind of horror aspect to it. Because there were some moments where she was like, she had me a little shook. I was like, girl,
how
you're making me shake.
Because
in
when
my
we
seat
get
right
in,
now.
because it was announced Deadpool and Wolverine, and we're getting Blade. I'm like, are we gonna see Blade be Blade like he was before?
See, I really love Blade
I
back
don't
when
wanna-
Blade was doing his own thing and
Wesley
the movies were coming
Snipes.
out. Wesley Snipes,
I
my
mean,
favorite
have
Blade,
you
only Blade.
you guys have heard the news with Blade? Like, apparently the script is just a shit show right now.
I
with
mean,
Blade
that was
going
that
on.
was the
My heart.
rumor. It was the rumor that the script was.
I have high hopes. I hope they don't.
I mean,
it
we
up.
had issues with Ant-Man, and Ant-Man is fine.
You know what's
Yeah, but
funny?
it's just they're
Ant-Man was
taking
supposed
a
to be
long
an
time.
Avengers.
This may shock you,
The
but
first Avengers movie.
I've never seen Ant-Man.
You never seen Ant-Man?
I've never seen
You never seen
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man?
Not
But I'm aware
No.
of how he ties into the storyline and all like the
never.
details. But I
none of the
never sat through it.
Ant-Mans?
Never
Huh?
seen it.
None of them, or just
None of them.
or just the first one.
None of
you
the
gotta
Ant-Man.
watch them.
Disney Plus, watch them.
I will. I just
You're
never.
gonna have to watch
They're fun.
Ant-Man
They're
3.
they're goofy.
I've heard from people that it's
Yeah.
funny.
They're just-
Like his friend is funny, and I've seen some clips.
Have you watched
Oh.
WandaVision?
Yes, I've seen everything except because you said it's removed from what's it called? The timeline, I
Content.
guess. Agents of Shield. I never saw that,
Oh, you only
Yeah, I never saw
but
Agents
I
of
also
S.H.I.E.L.D.
haven't seen Jessica Jones and
At least watch Daredevil. Apparently, they're trying to tie it in
I
to the
started
MCU, but
watching
not
Daredevil
really.
back in college when it first came out, but
Mm.
I guess something happened where I got sidetracked with like schoolwork that I just didn't continue watching the show. but I didn't not like it. I liked it.
You
I
can
just
just
didn't have
watch
the time
season
for it.
1 and be done with it.
Yeah, like I mean, season 1's like the best one to watch for Daredevil. But I mean, they said that it's not going to be a season 4. It's going to be a season 1 for Daredevil Born Again. Like it's probably going to only connect a couple
season
things.
1, but
I heard it was
how
like a soft
connected is
reboot.
it?
Like a
But
soft
I mean,
reboot.
what
I
are
don't
they
know.
taking and what are they using and what are they not using?
I don't see from a profit standpoint Marvel like taking a lot from them, so people have to watch the Netflix series. I don't think they want people to go to a different streaming site for that.
No, it's on Disney. It's on
Is
Disney
it?
Plus.
Oh, the series is on Disney?
Yeah, all the Netflix stuff is on
Oh.
Disney. Even Agents of
Well,
Shield's on Disney.
I mean, well, they
still
bought
feel
it
like they
so
don't
that they could
wanna-
put it on Disney, but talking from a writer standpoint, I guess
I know because everyone is so different. Even
it's hard to tie in all those.
I mean,
plots.
Kingpin he's the same, but it's like different. So what did Kingpin go through between the blip and now? Like what did he you can say like what did he lose? What did he gain? You know, maybe he was one of the people. Maybe, yeah, he had to have blip because he doesn't look aged at all.
I think that's one of the things that Marvel struggles with
Yeah.
is like filling in what's happening in between these movies and in between these shows, like our little soft.
I need
reboots.
to
Like,
know
they
what
don't
happened in the
do-
blip.
They need to fill in these parts that we're really curious about to get us invested in this, because if they don't answer our questions, we're just not going to give a fuck when they bring
Yeah.
out something
Yeah.
else, you know? Because they have to remember that your audience has to be interested in what you're showing. I mean, your idea could be really cool, but we are unaware of your idea until we see the finished piece. So I personally would just like more fill-ins and tie-ins to how all these little pieces connect, because sometimes there are inconsistencies.
Corey has his hand up.
Oh yes, Corey, you may speak now.
What they should do to address that is make an in-universe documentary about how things changed since the Avengers showed up. So, you know, it's like a documentary. Hey, the Avengers showed up, and since then there's an escalation of, you know, crime and people with special abilities showing up, and then, you know, and then you can sort of
I just feel like
fill in the blanks and be able, and you can introduce new characters, probably characters like motherfucking Leapfrog.
I feel like they should have seized
you
that
know?
opportunity.
Do you mean from,
when
like,
they
a
were doing the
civilians?
sideshows?
Huh?
Yeah. Do you mean like from a civilian's like perspective, like people
Yeah,
just
like
around?
when I say
Oh, so you're
in-universe
talking about-
documentary, like a docu,
Yeah.
we'll watch it, and it's like they're treating the MCU as it's real. So when we're watching it, they're speaking about the
Yeah.
Avengers as it actually happened.
I feel like they should
I think that'd be
incorporate
great.
that in the future, like, because you know how they just focus on the main story of something.
Yeah.
I like how in like a lot of directors just will have a storyline A, but then they've got storyline B, storyline C, and they're just they'll switch from storyline A to these other two, but it ties in or it fills in.
No, it
To the
doesn't.
first
It
plot.
doesn't even need to do that. It just needs to be the MCU as we know it
Mhm.
from the civilian's point of view.
There's
like
a
somebody
little
making-
bit of that. I think in the
Like
first
somebody
Avengers when they were
making,
showing
like,
like the news footage of certain civilians.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like like so
Yeah.
you mean something
I-
like that.
Yeah, because we know.
I mean, I feel
I'm
like
sorry,
it
I'm
would-
cutting you off, Kat.
She's
like we know what
pressed.
happens with the movies,
Mhm.
but like in universe, we don't know what people think about certain heroes, and we don't know what's happening on the ground level. So like we say, oh, there's this fool Daredevil and this motherfucker over here Leapfrog, and I could have swore I seen a man with horns running around in the forest, you know, like stuff like that. And then you know, is this interviews and encounters and stuff like that. I think that would be a cool project.
Yeah, I feel like it should be more of like, you know, like you're a college student doing your documentary film, and so you're that kind of film student. You're going around getting all the facts because they always get the dirtiest stuff where they just rampage people. Are like, oh, let's talk about it. We're going over to blah blah blah's house and
You know
talking
what
about this,
would
and
be
you get more
perfect for
things.
that? If they had like a Daily Bugle like announcement, because it's the Daily.
Nah, Daily Bugle is like InfoWars, so we can't trust Jameson.
Or I don't know, or like I don't know, another well-known newscast in the MCU could be reporting these.
Yeah,
things.
another newspapers.
Yeah, like give it a
whatever
segment
newspaper.
within like
Yeah.
the show or the movie. Just a little bit.
I don't know.
slightly.
Oh,
I mean, what
the
we have
newspaper
right now
Homeboy
is
worked
the-
for in Daredevil. What Cameron was working. Oh, you didn't see Daredevil,
I didn't see
but
it.
yeah, when Karen Page was working for a newspaper in the Daredevil series, and
Yeah.
yeah, whatever that was,
I-
forget.
I mean, we technically have like Scott Lang's podcast in the MCU, which is how everyone knows about everything that's happened in Endgame.
And even Kamala has her podcast too. We need episodes of all of that.
I don't remember Kamala's podcast.
No, she mentioned she had a podcast.
She mentions, but we don't see it. So it doesn't stick in my memory that she has a podcast.
Yeah.
For me, if I don't see it on screen, I don't know that it's a part of the universe.
Oh yeah, you got.
If it's just a little hint that's dropped in dialogue, I won't remember it.
Yeah, we suggest that you watch New Rockstars because those motherfuckers deep dive in this. They stretch it. Look, I seen this person wearing a yellow shirt. Could that be Wolverine?
I like those videos, but at the same time, it gets me thinking and overthinking, and then I'm like, damn.
I know,
my
but
expectations
they pull
get
out
too high.
everything, so. Because a lot of the times they find facts and stuff within, oh, that was the Easter egg. No one really, I wouldn't have caught it,
I saw an Easter egg.
Yeah, no,
that I shared with Kat earlier, but I don't know if I should say it on the podcast because I don't know if it's going to spoil like a future episode for She-Hulk. Well, I was scrolling through Instagram, as you do, and someone posted that they were rewatching one of the episodes of She-Hulk, but noticed some details about She-Hulk's friend. I can't remember her name for the life of me.
Mallory.
But they noticed
the lawyer, the black lawyer.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, I like her.
I'm unaware of most of the comics, so when Kat
she's supposed to be like a bad guy or something.
But to a viewer who does not read the comics, I just see Mallory as She-Hulk's friend.
Yeah.
Her confidant. But when this person was going over what they were noticing in the scene details, she's wearing the same jewelry emblem as Agatha in WandaVision, and she also breaks the fourth wall by making eye contact with the audience in one of the scenes.
Did she?
She does. And when I saw it, he's like, well, is she the real villain behind the entire series? I was like, oh. Like, spoiler.
I mean, she was only in like 3 episodes.
That's something really cool to point out. But I didn't notice that, and I thought that was pretty cool. So, yeah, that's something I discovered on my...
Nah, if new rock stars ain't noticed it, then
it's just something that someone on Instagram... It's not somebody that's like a big name in
I'm just making jokes.
I don't know. I mean, New Rockstars is great, but they don't go over every single detail. Like, I just watched a breakdown of this last episode, and there were some details that I noticed that they didn't break down. That, I'm surprised they didn't do that.
I don't know, man. I guess I'm just overwhelmed by how much you got all of that out of that episode. Like, what the fuck? I didn't see none of it.
Some people just pay super close attention to detail.
Yeah.
They love pausing the frames and analyzing every single thing they see.
I mean, they also get to see the episode early before it releases, and so they get more time to go through stuff. No, they stay till
midnight and watch that shit. I'm like, I'm going to bed. So they come in Monday morning, and it's like 7 a.m. Let's get to work, people. Oh, dang, I'm messing up my notes.
What do you guys think is going to happen in the last episode of She-Hulk? What's that going to lead into?
I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to speculate. I just want to be hit sideways, like, oh.
Do you think the intelligentsia is going to be like a bigger part of the MCU, or is it just kind of going to be just focused to the Hulks?
I'm pretty sure intelligentsia is linked to what's homeboy's name with the head?
A leader.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all linked together. And, it's just going to be a cliffhanger. They're just going to cliffhanger it.
Yeah, because we'll see the leader in Captain America, like the next one. But like, just as far as the intelligentsia of how they are at the moment, like, are they gonna just stick with Hulk right now, like the Hulks right now, or are they gonna expand, or they're already doing?
I feel like it's like Reddit, and then that was the subreddit that they were in was the She-Hulk one. Or maybe they just have certain targets, like you were saying. That could be a thing.
It could be. I mean, I was just telling Rosa, I'm like, they were just trying to make Jen look like a monster. That was their goal at that moment, because she wasn't looking like a monster yet. They couldn't do that.
She wasn't doing nothing but just hoeing out like every other dude. And look at her, like, she's having sex with men. I'm like, okay, nigga.
I just hate that. I mean, okay, so let me explain myself. I like that the villain did that in storyline because it just shows you how much of a shitty person they are and how low they're willing to hit you in order to get whatever the heck that they want, that they're trying to accomplish in their mission or whatever. But I just hate that women have to go through that, you know, being slut shamed when it takes two to tango. Like, why isn't the other party receiving the same criticism or the same shame? Because it's it's unfair.
It's like when if you find your partner cheating, then you get mad
at just that one person,
at the person, and not necessarily at the partner. I'm like, look, what if they were lied to?
Okay, like if I were cheated on, I would be upset with the other female coming into my relations. Like, why are you butting in?
Why
you shouldn't be butting in.
Why are you mad?
I am more pissed at the one that I am with. Because she could put all the moves that she wants on him, but I am going to be more pissed at the person that I am with.
Yeah, because what if she was lied to? You know, what is it? I ain't got no
exactly because that
like, I don't have a
that happens. That does happen to people. I mean, that whole last episode of She-Hulk was just, there's so many parts that kept making me angry because it happens to people in real life. But like the whole last act of it with her at the awards and stuff every scene pissed me off. The female awards giving it to 5 women and it looked like a beauty pageant pissed me off.
What is it like being a female lawyer?
Oh my God, how they described a female lawyer pissed me off. They're beautiful. They're like a normal lawyer, but they do it backwards. I'm like, they are normal lawyers. What are you talking about?
My gender has nothing to do with me being an excellent lawyer. Thank you. Like
when the drama with her twerking was wilding out on Twitter, those men came out, and I was just like, how little self-esteem do you have for yourself when this is fucking bothering you? You know, if twerking really bothered you, then you would be talking about twerking 24/7. But it's just the fact that
women have been shaking their ass since the beginning of time.
The dawn
they
of
just
fucking
give
time.
it a different name every generation. Okay,
I'm like, shut up. You're not mad. You just mad because you ain't getting no puss. Be quiet.
Yeah, I did like that. Jen broke the fourth wall before that, right? When she was like, oh, this should be the end of the episode, but it's not. And she talked about those 2 things where it's like, am I getting fridged? And stuff like that. Because that was hilarious to me. Because, I mean, that's the thing that happens. If people don't know what that means. Is just that's female characters dying or getting crippled or something bad happens to them to bring up a male character's involvement in their quest of whatever. And I'm like, oh, that's so funny.
Oops. I needed to.
His pencil went rogue.
I needed to fiddle with something, and it ran away from me. But yeah, Nikki, I love Nikki, the paralegal. I like her.
I
She's
really like her. And even though she tries not to have like too much of a personal relationship with her colleagues, she does show a level of care. Like that in that moment where Jen is right before about to, let out all her anger and frustration.
She's the first one.
She does try to tell her, "Hey, you might want to not do."
At the same time, that she's scared because she's hulking out.
Because she's like, I can't physically stop you, but I'm hoping that you can hear me when I say this. Please don't do this. Like it's gonna make you look bad to the public. But
exactly.
She's a Hulk, so
Jen had 100% right though to feel the way that
she had the right to do.
Because no one should be slut shamed like that.
Yeah.
With Nikki's character. With Nikki's character, I love her character. Every episode, though, I keep getting because I know the comics and I know what character she's based off of, and I know that character doesn't make it in the end. So I'm like, please don't do that to her.
Oh, not season 1. Soon,
do that.
One day, if they decide to continue like that,
I'll cry. I'll be so.
Let's get into some multiverse stuff.
Oh yes,
but to wrap it up, bloody hell. Illuminati. You think they're going to show back up a new version?
I feel like they will.
Like we need it.
I feel like they will because that doctor in their universe, Rachel McAdams' character, specifically specializes in labeling and finding alternate realities and giving them a label. No.
She's still. Oh, that universe is still around, right?
Yeah, that universe is still around, and she's still alive in that universe. It's just the main group of the Illuminati got taken out. So.
Yeah, I feel like Doctor Strange was be like, hey, we need this group again.
And it seems like they about to do a long distance relationship because
that's weird. Isn't that weird?
It's a little weird. like Doctor Strange just goes back to his universe and she just pops up. It's like, so
he's just pulling the Wanda,
have you been on any dates? Yeah, with an alternate version of you. What?
Huh?
What?
Well, I mean, he's gonna be with Cleo. Obviously, he's not thinking about Christine.
I forgot about her.
Yeah, no, he's with her. That's her. Him and Christine Palmer are done. That relationship ended. That was his send off in the movie with that. Like he got over her basically. But I mean, I think he's going to try to make the Illuminati, but he's going to try to make it better, but it's still going to fail. Like I think the Illuminati is always going to be destined to fail no matter what.
I want to see a Tom Cruise Iron Man on this team.
Tom Cruise Iron Man.
A superior Iron Man?
Not even just Tom Cruise Iron Man.
We're just going to notice a height difference randomly when we see the Iron Man suit.
Hey, this Tony a little
shorter.
No, you're never going to see that because he doesn't do that.
Like in the comic books, there were, what is it called? A convergence?
Yes.
Yeah,
we had a convergence where they will reboot the universe. So do you think after Secret Wars we're going to have a convergence and it's going to introduce mutants, or they're just going to stop the convergence from happening and it's just going to leave the MCU
saying it's
as
a convergence is a better way of doing it rather than just we changed it to change it. Giving it a reason within the universe will make more sense, I feel like.
But do you think they need to do a convergence to introduce mutants?
I think they might. I think maybe at least to introduce a lot of things, because I feel like they're just going to make it like they're going to combine everything and make it like Battle World, but it's still just normal Earth. It's not going to be exactly like a Battle World scenario, but it's just going to be because this is a way for them to bring in other characters as well, not just mutants. This could be a way for them to bring in Miles Morales as Spider-Man already, or like other characters from those particular ones, you know? Like not just mutants, but everything.
I mean, I feel like we'll get Black Suit Spider-Man before Miles. Because then it'll be like the comic book. That's when he got his black suit.
Yeah, but I still feel like, because that's when Secret Wars happened in the comics, that's when Miles Morales went into the main continuity. Because he got sucked through after Battle World.
Yeah, but now Miles Morales is old enough to be Spider, so we can see that movie. You get what I mean?
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like they might do a different actor, and it might be just a different Miles Morales that gets put into that world. I don't think they'll do the main one because he's not going to really do anything in that one.
What?
Because they already have a Miles Morales from one of the Spider-Man movies, but yeah, I mean that one was technically older.
We'd have to see an older Miles
Morales. So he had to survive during the blip. That's what I mean. So he didn't get blipped away.
Isn't he like in a different universe though?
No.
Wait, he was
in No Way Home. His uncle.
Morales?
He was in. He was in No Way Home.
mentioned in No Way Home.
Oh, I missed that part though.
Yeah,
no, he was mentioned in there, but I mean,
it's no guarantee that we're gonna see the exact same Miles Morales that we liked in a newer rendition of him.
I mean, no. I mean, like PS4 and Spider-Verse, they're both different Miles.
They are, but I mean, it's just it's the fact. It's like, do you think there's actually going to be another radioactive spider to bite him? Like, I don't see them.
Yeah. Is it the same? He said, because Peter said it was dead. He said he killed it.
Yeah.
When his boy was asking, he's like, is the spider sitting around? He's like, no, it's dead. So it's like how is Miles going to be Spider-Man? So I guess him coming from a different universe would be.
I mean, I don't think it would have to be a spider, because I remember at like like where that spider comes from, it is a spider that was experimented on. So whatever experimentation led to that spider becoming so super that it gave Peter his powers, I feel like maybe Miles gets into a situation where.
That's why I feel like we need a convergence, because that way we can get Oscorp, because Oscorp is not around.
Oh yeah, Oscorp is not a thing, and they made that very clear in Homecoming or No Way Home.
No way else. See, we mixing the movies up.
Yeah,
So many
The whole
things.
trilogy.
The only other person I see like them doing something like that would be Doctor Doom and like his company and doing experiments like that and having it get out of hand. Like it can't be with Stark because they don't deal with stuff like that. It's just
Stark
purely
is done.
tech.
We don't even know what Star Tech is doing
I
now.
think Tony stopped the whole, missile production thing because
after he became Iron Man, he was just like,
doing.
nah.
Yeah.
But
But
still
I don't
like a
think the
tech
company
company,
stopped making
not a-
things. They just changed.
Yeah, but it's still a tech company. It's not a genetics company. Like this would have to be a genetics thing.
It would be
whatever.
completely out of.
I mean, he can figure it out, but that's not what he was doing.
Yeah, like it could be with the Fantastic Four doing that because they're genetics technically, like they deal with that stuff. But that's why I say Doctor Doom would be the only person I'd see doing that if it happens that way.
Yeah.
I ain't ready for Doom yet.
I don't know. I
He's
guess we'll
going
just have to wait and see. hopefully it makes sense when they incorporate
It's
that
just-
into the new movies.
Doom is different. I'm not ready for it yet.
I'm just scared because I love Doom and expectations are already very high and it's like if he doesn't meet it, I'm gonna be so sad.
Yeah, because
That'd be
all
so sad.
versions of live action Doctor Doom were lame. So
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm like scared. But one thing with with it, like also like with the Convergence and Multiverse Saga, do you think there's going to be more Nexus beings coming up, or are they basically done with that?
I don't even understand what a Nexus. I mean, that means that's just one of that person, right?
Yeah, it's like it's like they're between timelines almost. Like
Because,
they just don't
there's
fit.
there's no
control
Wanda
reality.
that powerful somewhere else.
Yeah, it's a Nexus being is someone that can control reality some way. They can warp reality. So like there's Wanda, there's Man-Thing that's a Nexus being that we saw in Werewolf by Night. And there's like a bunch of other ones that are Nexus beings where like the TVA really can't, they go after them because they ruin the plan without even knowing because they can just do whatever they want basically.
Yeah.
Like
Loki fucked up killing Kang. You should have left shit alone.
Loki never leaves shit alone. Loki's just
Kang knew. He already knew it was going to happen.
But yeah, we talked the hell out of the MCU, really. Any mutants, whatever. I don't know.
I would like to see more mutants. I was a big fan of the X-Men series, the animated X-Men series when I was younger. And there's just so many mutants that they could incorporate.
I feel like the MCU is just going to turn into the X-Men cinematic universe.
But that's the thing, though. Like in the comics, there's X-Men versus Avengers.
Yeah.
So it's like
you're gonna have two. You're gonna have Marvel Studios and X-Men Studios, and they're just gonna be making movies.
But it's just the question
like
is
they exist
how
in the same
much,
universe, but they're never gonna admit it on screen.
The question though is how much of these mutants are going to be X-Men though? It could just be MCU.
Oh yeah,
mutants,
like Miss Marvel.
universe.
Yeah, she's a mutant, but she's not an X-Men.
Yeah, like when they dropped that in the show, like there's a mutation in your genes. I was like,
Yeah. Like even in the She-Hulk series, we see all these different type of mutants, but they're not X-Men. They're just random people going around. Yeah, like I'm definitely excited for that, for the multiverse. I'm excited to see more horror stuff. That's what I'm enjoying because they're bringing in. They did Werewolf by Night, which I thought was great. Eventually, they're going to do Midnight Suns. They're going to do Blade and all that. So that they're going to bring in vampires, and that's going to be just fun.
Blade.
Yeah, they gotta do Blade. You gotta do my boy right.
They gotta do him justice.
But next episode we're gonna be talking about this movie here, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. What you guys think of Namor?
I think I think he already looks great. Like it's already looking awesome to me.
I was gonna ask you a question, Rosa. I don't know.
Question.
Because like for Black Panther, that kind of ignited like all the blacks. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck yeah, let's go. And we were all like, you know what I mean?
It was definitely a hype movie.
Yeah, is no one hyped for Namor having a king hero from Aztec, or is he Mayan or Aztec?
It's Mayan.
They're leading towards it. Okay, so Aztec and Mayan, they are two different things.
Yeah,
but
I
they
know that.
also have so many similarities.
Yeah.
It's easy to get them mixed up. I'm excited for it because as someone who's a descendant of the Mayan culture, I don't see many superheroes that have that tie-in culturally, and it's cool to see.
I like that they added because Namor is just like Marvel.
Yeah, Namor was just the first mutant. That's all he was. He didn't have like a nationality or anything, or really where he came from. We didn't know that too much. He was just Atlantean because he was king there. But I like that they added that, so it makes sense because it's grounding it a bit more in something fantasy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's give it an actual explanation. Like, what are these people? Where did they come from?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just being like, oh, they've always been here.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm excited to see that character, but a character that I wish they could add it into any Spidey movies, I guess, or timelines if they ever bring this character in, but her name is La Araña, and she's the Mexican version of Spider-Man. And I feel like I relate to that more because I'm not 100% Mexican. I was born here in America. It shows her more as a Mexican American, and I feel like I relate to that way more than seeing
I don't know who that is.
A Mayan dressed or an Aztec dressed character because I also don't 100% identify with that.
Yeah,
That's
it's same with
with
us and Black Panther. I ain't never been to Africa.
Exactly.
But still,
So
Black Panther was, it was created by like Americans and
cultural wise, I respect it and I'm excited and I'm hyped for it. But for me to actually have a superhero that I can 100% relate to would be someone like La Araña. Because it's kind of a reflection of my life. I am Mexican American, juggling two cultures.
What was that ghost name that sounds like that?
What?
There's a ghost. Remember that movie?
La Llorona.
Yeah.
Llorona means crier.
Yeah.
La Araña is just the Spanish term for spider.
Dude, those are really close words. They're crying spiders.
Yeah, but I agree with you though, Rosa, with all that and stuff. Like more representation. Like all their heroes are either going to be white American that they have so far, or from completely a different country, and that's where they come from.
And I don't come from a completely different country. I'm American.
Exactly.
Come from
but
here.
I have a Mexican heritage. You know.
But
so when I start saying more too,
but then again, I still love then again, I still love that they're pulling these from different countries and giving that still representation, and not just America. This is a world thing and not just the United States.
Yeah, I'm happy to see the culture getting brought into light, but I would also like to have those superheroes that I can personally connect with more.
I'm gonna be mad they colonized Wakanda. I'm about like, man.
Ooh, I don't like seeing any kind of movie with colonization because learning that in history class growing up, I hated it. Colonization pisses me off.
All right.
Yeah.
On that note,
Anyway,
on that note, we thoughts and prayers to Wakanda. We hope everything turns out right. We'll know in about a month.
Wishes.
And this has been the anniversary episode of DYNA CAST episode 8. I never know what episode we're on. Guys, so we made it a whole last year, and our numbers are staggering. But hey, at least people are watching.
we saw we had a couple fans last time, so in the comments, it was cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, what are you gonna say?
I may have not have been here from the beginning, but I appreciate joining now.
I mean, I've known you long enough, so you might as well have been.
Known me long enough, but didn't let me come into this project from the beginning. I see where I stand, Corey.
Okay. Yeah, like, subscribe, and comment, and all that good stuff, interact, engagement, blah blah, and everything. And I guess Caitlin wants to do the thing.
Do the thing.
Oh, I get to do the thing?
We cannot. I assume because you always want to.
I always like doing the thing.
All right. I mean, it's going to be a delay.
Yeah.
Are we? We're not even delayed right now, are we?
No, I don't think so.
No. All right.
And then if you edit this correctly.
No, that's delay. Okay. On 3, we can do the thing. Okay.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
DYNA CAST, power up. Bam. You messed that up.
I didn't get to do it.
All right, that's cool. All right.
Wow.
Wakanda forever.